everybody, and welcome to O'Rourke's Public House for the Mike Brey radio show. I am Jack Nolan, joined as always by the 15-year head coach of the Fighting Irish. You're aging well.
I am. We've won enough. That's why.
Well, and you're winning again. But before we talk about that, that's important. But the most important thing this week and every year, and I like to emphasize to folks, basketball is a two-semester sport. So there's no coasting academically for your guys, because if they mess up, they're not playing. So exams have pretty much, I think they've wrapped up for your players. Maybe there's one tonight. You'll get on the bus tomorrow. How the reports you're getting now, how do you think it went for your guys?
Well, we've got some guys in an exam tonight, and we've got some guys in an exam tomorrow morning. So by the time we get on that bus at 1 o'clock, I think there'll be a lot of free minds, and they'll all be sleeping on the way down to Indianapolis. We're going to practice down there tomorrow night. Austin Burgett's with us tonight because he has finished exams, but from talking to our guys in practice, they feel like it's going well. And you're right, Jack, the one thing about our place, that we're a two-semester sport and that we have semester-to-semester eligibility. I'm more nervous this week than I was before the Florida State or Michigan State game. And not because our guys aren't doing well, but it's
hard.
Last time I checked, this school's kind of hard.
Yeah, hard.
It's just tough school. And but our guys have been attention to detail. They've been handling things well this week. We had a good practice today, and you never know sometimes what kind of practice you're going to get on a day like this when there's still exams out there. We'll have a great practice tomorrow night in Indianapolis at Bankers Life because all the academic stuff will be off their back by the time we get into Indy. They're just basketball players, and that's when we have a window to get better. So fingers crossed, but I think we're in good shape, and we went into the week in good shape academically.
And I think I reminded you of this ever since you got here, to the point of maybe irritation on your part. But really, some of the poorest Notre Dame basketball performances I've seen since the 80s has been that game on Friday or Saturday of exam week. And I think it really started with the UCLA game here, which I think 4 years ago now, and now the Crossroads Classic. You have played really well on that first day. Have you done anything differently? What have you done to get the basically, not the cobwebs, but the final exam haze to fade away quickly enough to play well against quality competition?
You know what I think helps us? That we're not playing here, that we're playing in Indianapolis. There's a great crowd. It's almost like an NCAA tournament atmosphere. The four big schools in the state are down there. The fans there's a buzz about it. You're playing a quality opponent. It's a nationally televised game. I think that gets your guys more ready to play than if you were to play somebody here that maybe was a mid-major. And you know, so again, we've won 2 in a row down there. We lost to Indiana the first year. We've beaten Purdue and Indiana the last 2 years. And you know what's great about down there? Our crowd has started to come out. My biggest worry when we signed up for this, would our fans come out in Indianapolis? Because historically in the old Big Four, we didn't represent real well. But they've been good. That Indianapolis Alumni Club have hustled up the tickets. And again, I think because we've got a fun team and we're in the midst, I think, of a good year, we'll have a good crowd down there. Purdue will definitely have people. There's no question about it.
You know, that's good news because I speak to them before the game, and the fact they're still coming, that's good news.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
Oh, God, we have to hear Nolan again. No, it really, and it's a good atmosphere, and you have done very well down there. But let's get to where you are now. 10-1. You're not off the radar anymore. You're ranked 21st in the country. But you've played really, really well to the point where I know the fan base is excited. They were concerned after last year, and you had to really pay attention to understand what happened last year. I mean, you played solid all the way through that final game in North Carolina. Kind of ran out of gas, and Wake Forest was playing for their coach. They couldn't do anything to change it. But, I mean, throughout all the adversity, you played well. You didn't win as many games as you wanted to, didn't make the tournament for the first time since you've been here, any tournament. But now I think people have watched how you played. And the fact that you've played so well, and UMass and Providence, quality competition as well. But Michigan State played so well, and Florida State, and granted, they lost their leading scorer, but to play that well at home against those 3 big guys and to have your big guy play so well, I think has excited a lot of people.
Yeah, I think there's a nice buzz about us just being around town the last couple of weeks, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a fun group to watch. You know, we've improved defensively, which is where we really had to address that issue. And you've heard me talk about Demetrius Jackson and how his ball pressure helps us. But we are really good offensively. And I thought we could get back into that gear that we've seen here offensively for a lot of my years. But we pass it, we cut, we move, we know how to play. And that starting group, they've played a lot together now. When you add in Italy and the practices, and the 4 games in Italy, we've played a lot together, and we've got a nice rhythm to us, and we're confident, but yet I think we know we can get better, and this is a great challenge for us down there. This is a little bit of a road game atmosphere, similar to when we played Providence in a so-called neutral site.
Well, that was a home game for Providence.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there. There's no question. That lower bowl was all Providence, basically.
Can we win in this atmosphere tomorrow on a neutral site that really leans more toward Purdue on Saturday? Can we get one of those? This group has taken us into new territory almost weekly, but I'm really pleased with where we're at. Our older guys have set a great tone leading us. Our younger guys are growing up and getting better. B.J. Beacham practiced today for a half a practice. I'm not sure if he's going to be fully available Saturday, but he will be available Monday, and that's encouraging to have him back because he was playing really well for us when he went down.
You also lead the nation in field goal percentage shooting. You're, again, very productive from 3. You didn't get the three-point production last year that you normally do as a team, and it's basically the same guys who are now knocking down the shots. Did you expect this team to shoot as well as it has been shooting from the perimeter this year?
I thought we'd shoot it well again. There's no question. I thought we could really spread people out. The one thing about Jaron Grant, man, he just really is involved with everything we do offensively. He finds people. One of the things I found after the second game in Italy, I said, God, we're shooting it better than I thought. Why is that? It's because Jaron Grant's back. And when he breaks down a defense, he finds shooters. And when he finds them, they're really good shots. They're really open shots. We didn't get as many really clean looks without him last year. Demetrius now, after playing with Jaron, has learned to get in there and find people and kick it out. And Demetrius himself has become a weapon from the three-point line. So, we do, that group really knows how to play together. Their spacing's good. We spread the floor with Pat as your second big guy. And as you mentioned early, when Zach August is in a rhythm like he was the other night, it's kind of hard to really guard us.
Jaron has the skills. He could be your Kobe. Now, you don't want him to play that way, but, I look, 10-minute mark of the first half normally, Jaron's taken 2, maybe 3 shots. He's really letting the game come to him. How is that helping your team, and how is that helping him? Because he is the guy you want to take over when the game's on the line.
Well, the one thing he's done is he's handled the balance of getting people involved and then scoring really well. I think when he was younger, he was searching for that balance. But he's come back, and he should be doing that now. He's a fifth-year senior. He's done it with great poise. When we need one, he can go get one, but he keeps people involved. The one thing I'll say about him, Jack, I think we have a lottery pick here. And I'll be the first to say it. He's about easily a first-round draft pick, but I think by the end, if he keeps trending the way he is, this is a young man that's a lottery pick, and I think it's going to be a great story and a long-term pro. But you know what? When he came back, he wanted to win again. He wanted to finish the right way here. And I've been really proud of his leadership and his voice because he's kind of a quiet guy, but he hasn't been this year.
If you're just folks making that transition from the football season to basketball season, Jaron Grant right now leads the best conference in the country, the ACC, in scoring and assists. That's quite an accomplishment. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about that other thing that this team is doing really, really well, defense, after this timeout. The Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Really good defensively, and you're able to do some things you haven't been able to do. And at the risk of boring you, I'm going to briefly touch on the story that I remember from the Hawaii Pacific Tournament way back in 2001. You were in a gym in Honolulu. I don't know if you remember this. You called everybody together, and you made an impassioned speech about how you wanted your teams to have a defensive identity.
Right.
So, I mean, you hear it recruiting. You don't care about defense. You're just going to, roll the balls out and let guys play.
Recruits don't either.
Well, that's true. I know that. But what has changed that is allowing you, and you have been, obviously your Sweet 16 team was tough and pretty good defensively, but none of your teams here have been able to play defense the way this one can, and you've been trending towards this. What has changed that has allowed you to play this way in the defensive end?
Well, we were thoroughly disappointed at who we were defensively last year, and it was something that we addressed, hard in the offseason as soon as the spring workout started. And our guest, Austin Burgett, was the ringleader of those workouts because Jaron Grant wasn't back yet, and Pat Connaughton was throwing the baseball. So, Austin did a fabulous job of getting our 6 guys together, and we did a lot of defensive stuff. It starts with the ball pressure of Demetrius Jackson. He is really, I don't know if there's a better guy in the country that can pressure the ball. And that is a really unselfish act because it's exhausting and you have to do it all the time, and he's doing it for 30 minutes. I'm really proud of how he knows that jump starts us, but it's made us push offenses out further on the floor. We can get into passing lanes. Jaron, Steve, Pat can contest passing lanes better because of Demetrius's ball pressure. And with Demetrius and Jaron, you have two guys that have a knack for stealing the ball. We're stealing the ball at a rate we've never stole it before.
We're fourth in the ACC in steals.
And we're getting easy buckets out of it. So, I think it's neat to watch us hang our hat on that. We're interesting in a game. It takes us a while, even though we go through it in scouting. We get a feel for a team's offensive rhythm, their sets, their motion, their movement. And I think because our basketball IQ is really high, at about that 10-minute mark, we've got a pretty good feel of how you're moving. And that's when we start to kick in and get some stuff defensively. And it's interesting to watch them intelligently get a feel for, okay, here comes the stagger screen. The ball screen comes here. This guy likes to do that. And we really get a good feel of it. And we've done a great job of it. And, again, it's getting us easy buckets. It's getting us out, and we're getting some layups. And one of the reasons we're shooting the top percentage in the country is because we're getting layups off of steals and transition stuff off of defensive stops. We're getting easy buckets, so our shooting percentage is high.
Demetrius getting it done offensively, too. 13.3 points. He's shooting 40% from three. Very good at the free throw line. He's getting the assists out. And a lot of times when you have a guy putting in that much effort, really pressuring, he's pressuring three-quarter court almost every possession. They have a tendency to take their rest period on offense. He's not doing that. How is he pulling that off?
He never does. And I'm always conscious of stealing him rest more than the other perimeter guys because of the ball pressure responsibility. Well, there's been a couple games where it's kind of been hard to take him out because it's crunch time, and he has played through. He's in great shape. He's played through defending the ball, and then he's driving and scoring and finishing and dunking. That's a heck of an athlete to do that. But he's the one guy I think of in the starting lineup is when can I pick a spot right before a media timeout to get him a blow, because that ball pressure is such a key for us.
10 dunks against Florida State, and they were impressive, and the fan base is just eating it up. How does the coach feel?
You know what? We have a group that can throw that thing down, and boy, that night was the ultimate with a lot of guys getting in there. Zach was fabulous with some of his drives from out at 15 feet, and he's got good speed to get by big guys. But we get out in transition and get him. Martin Gebbin had a putback. We have guys who can finish. We're athletic, and it's one of the more athletic teams, if not the most, that I've ever had here in my 15 years.
And folks listening on the radio, watching on Watch and D are here at O'Rourke's. If you missed it somehow, Alan Wazalewski of our Fighting Irish Digital Media staff put together a nice little video called Dunks Do Lock.
Yeah, that was great.
It's got all 10 dunks.
Our recruits love that, by the way.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's
was
good
pretty
to know.
good. That was really good.
That's good to know. They're not scared by the crazy announcer guy? I hope not.
They said, is that guy going to be calling games when I come here? Depends.
Yeah, if he doesn't have a stroke first. But, give it a watch because it's just fun to watch. Questions for Coach. Kevin's here from Plymouth, Indiana. Coach, how important is it for Zach August to run the floor on the break?
Oh, big, because he is, there's not a better big running guy like that. He gets out and he moves and, Zach August, he's playing well, but it's nice playing with those guys he plays with because they're really good passers and they find him. But his speed and changing ends is a weapon for us, and we're always reminding him to run the floor. And we want Torres to run, and we want Gebbin to run, and we want Bonzi to run, and any of our frontline guys, we want them running the floor. Zach does it very naturally.
Sue made the trip again all the way from Boston.
Does she have a Sam Adams in her hand tonight?
She is at the bar, as most people from Boston are.
Sue,
you like those Irishmen from Boston.
Yeah.
She's got a draft. I'm not sure it's a Sam Adams, but she's got a draft. What is the contrast between the ACC and the Big Ten with respect to offense and defense?
Big Ten or Big East?
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
That's a good question. I've always been asked that question in comparison to the Big East.
And again, you don't spend that much time, but you're playing a couple Big Ten teams a year now.
Yeah. I think the Big Ten has always kind of been known and it still does have that identity, maybe not as much as the 90s, as a half-court physical man-to-man defensive league. That they just and for the most part a half-court offensive team, even though Michigan State really runs, but everybody else kind of grinds. A grinding league, good half-court man-to-man, maybe not necessarily overplaying, but solid at the three-point line, the old pack line stuff, jam it in. Physical, rebound the basketball hard. That's kind of the Big Ten thing. Purdue under Matt Painter and Gene Katie has always played that way. You know, they are physically going to guard you. They're going to grind you in their motion. And certainly the team we're going to see Saturday evening has 2 7-footers. The difference between the 7-footers of Florida State and the 7-footers of Purdue, the Purdue 7-footers are the main offensive weapon. They throw it into the post. No team feeds the post more than Purdue. So our big guys got to do a good job guarding, but we got to also know who we can help off of, the non-shooters, and jam it up down there. But this two-headed monster of Hammonds and Haws, they pound on you and post up. It's a workout for your big guys.
So do you help Zach a little bit?
Yes. And you know, our big guys, you know, you got to play them early. You got to play big bodies. You can't get buried. Can you get them off the post a little bit? Can you make them take some stuff from outside the lane? But we also have to know who we can crowd off of. Can't crowd off of Stevens because he really shoots the ball. But we've done a good job of putting Jaron Grant on a guy who's maybe not a shooter and let him rat around. Same with Demetrius Jackson. There's where we're getting some deflections, some steals, and then the big guy hurries his shot sometimes.
You know, I know we give an attendance award to season ticket holders now who at least make sure their seats are used each game. Gary Rivers, I think, would probably win.
They definitely win that.
Coach's show.
They win the coach's show.
They're always here.
No question.
We get worried if you don't show up, and I don't remember you ever
we call
not
the
showing
house.
up.
I called the house one time.
To check out.
They weren't here. Where's Gary?
Yeah,
where's his
wife?
wife?
Sure. Well, first of all, great win Saturday, and thank you. I think we agree. Coach, playing close to home this weekend, do you prepare like you would for a home game or an away game?
Good question. I think we've kind of talked to our guys a little bit about it's going to be more of a road atmosphere because Purdue, and again, I think our fans have really, you know, rallied down there. But I think Purdue's going to have more people than us. And so I think it's going to – I don't want our guys shocked that they're going to be on us down there like they were in Mohegan Sun, the UMass fans and the
Providence
fans. But they're going to be on us. But, you know, for us, I said, you know, we won the UMass game. That was kind of a neutral site. Providence was kind of a road game. I think it could be – I want to see us win in this atmosphere. We haven't done that where there's more of a visiting crowd, and certainly we've got a lot of ACC games on the road where we'll be challenged. But you know, I want us to go for it. We're not protecting anything. We've been an attacking team, and I want us to keep that kind of mentality down there in Indy Saturday evening.
And, folks, there are tickets available. Notre Dame's the host school this year.
We are.
And they're fun to watch. And I will say this about Indianapolis, and I've been going there since the early 80s. It was always a good sports town. Now it's both a great sports town, and then it's a great town to do stuff after the game.
No question. It is a great basketball town. Mm-hmm. This is a hoop state. Indianapolis for the Final Four, which will be there, you know, this year for it. Literally, I hope we'll be there for it this year for it. It's just a basketball town. And the buzz in that town, we'll feel it when we pull into the hotel. And that's why I think all four teams are so excited to play. It's really an NCAA tournament type atmosphere. The energy's good. You're right. There's great things to do after the game. Certainly that first game is going to be a knockdown drag out with IU and Butler. And then this has been a brilliant move by the four athletic directors, this event. I know we've extended a couple years. My feeling is we should play this thing every year. It's great for us. And for you preparing for postseason tournament play, playing the second game is also actually good. Yeah, no, there's no question about it. I mean, of course, last time we played the second game, Butler beat Indiana and everybody left the building. You know, I remember that. You know, and but you won the game, so we did. We won the game, but it's preparation. It's not like you don't get to hang out an hour and a half before. You have to get the floor, get ready, and go. Right. You got your 25 minutes on the game clock, and you got to come out of the locker room and be ready to roll, and you practice that routine a little bit. But I love Indy. I love playing there. It's a big recruiting game. You know, you look at our roster. We have more Indiana kids than we've ever. Behind Purdue, we have the next most number of Indiana kids on the roster, more than Butler, more than IU. We've really recruited this state. This is a bragging right. This helps us in recruiting in this state. I know my Indiana guys are all fired up to be down there tomorrow and Saturday in Indy.
Now, after the game Saturday, you have another chance to see the Irish on Monday night, Northern Illinois. Then the team gets to take a little break. They'll be back, I think, the night of the 26th. Is that correct?
We come back the night of the 27th. We're going to give them a little Christmas break. 23, come back, practice the night of the 27th. We do our Christmas clinic. And then we've got Hartford, who is picked to win that league, a dangerous team coming in here on the 30th. And then we've got Georgia Tech and another ACC game on January 3rd.
And there's a special being run right now if you want to come out and see the Irish play Hartford on Tuesday, December 30th. It's called the Notre Dame Men's Basketball Family Pack. You can get 4 reserve game tickets, 4 soft drinks, 4 bags of chips, and 4 hot dogs. And the entire package starts at just $60. That is a value. To purchase your family pack tickets, visit und.com/buy tickets or call the Renane Family Ticket Office at 574-631-7356. We're going to get one of those Indiana natives up here who play a very big role for this team. Austin Burgett will join us on the Mike Brey Radio Show right after this timeout. Remember, our show presented by TireRack.com. Welcome back to the Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com. And please welcome the 6'9" forward from Avon, Indiana, Austin Burgett. Austin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know, I think people kind of forget you were really on a roll early last year. I remember against Florida State. Well, before we get that, Georgia Tech, Maryland. You had 38 minutes of action, 20 points, 7 rebounds. You had 7 quick points at Florida State. And then the heart thing kicked up and really kind of knocked you back a little bit in terms of the progress that you were making, becoming a key member of this team.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of out of nowhere, and I remember talking to Coach Brey the other day. I said, let's just finish this Florida State game.
We did, didn't we? We did talk about on shoot around. I said, let's finish that Florida State game. And he's, you know what, I give Berg a lot of credit. You heard me mention it on the front. You know, he has been a key leader to the development of this group back when we were a limping, beat down, worn out, poor program and only had 6 guys because Jaron wasn't back and Pat was pitching baseball. We had our butts handed to us in the ACC tournament. Berg was the ringleader to get everybody together to lift, to play. We could only play 3-on-3. That's all we had. We did 3-on-3 defensive drills every week. And so I really give a lot of credit to this guy. He is a key leader for us. He's kind of a utility guy. He comes in, what do you need me to do? Defend, move the ball, drive it, run the floor. He's just been a key part of the fabric of this group, and he gives us a maturity that has helped our team.
And you bring a lot of athleticism to the table as well. You do have a great photo on your Twitter feed with the hashtag White Men Can Jump, a shot of you dunking earlier. And I know you didn't get the opportunity to join in, but it had to be a lot of fun to be on that team for Dunks Do Lock. 10 dunks by your teammate. You've had a number this year. I mean, you guys are playing above the rim on a regular basis.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of fun. Like you said, last game I didn't even know that's what they called it, Dumps Do Lock, but I guess maybe it can be a new hashtag for our Twitter or something.
Well, it could be Dunk Dome, but I know, well, obviously at Notre Dame, people are really picking up the Dunks Do Lock aspect of it. But, I mean, I think your signature right now is something no one will ever take away from you, and no one will ever forget it. And Coach knew that right there. He knew that it was going to be a tough first year in the ACC, but you won your first game. You beat Duke, and you were a huge part of that. 5 block shots against Duke, and you. I think he, as much as anyone, really took the Blue Devils out of that game.
You know, that's our first ACC win, and, you know, we substituted him and we downshifted and we played small. He was our biggest guy. We switched everything. It really helped us defensively. He was amazingly active. The block he had on Jabari Parker lives in infamy. It's on our intro video. And, you know, the one thing he does is get to the board. He is a great offensive rebounder. He flies from outside the arc and gets us extra possessions. He's easy to play with. You know, you like playing with him. He knows where to move the ball, when to swing it. He understands our offense. And he's a key for us. He's a key. He's part of our leadership and been a key for a long time with us.
What do you remember about the Duke game?
First thing I remember is there was a lot of blue in the crowd, and I remember talking to Meach before the game and saying that
Yeah.
we were kind of mad that there's so much like blue fans in our arena.
In our house, right?
Just kind of fueled us and came out and played.
You know, we talked about the issue you had last year. You got sick about a month ago, and that kind of took you out of the rotation. And you've also had whistle disease. I mean, you've gone in to play your role, and you've been hit with some, I sometimes call them ticky-tack fouls. It's really kind of prevented you to this point to really get into the rhythm a lot of the times. But without, I mean, you're still very much in this rotation. How do you, and this team's a little different. Coach's rotation, the bench has got a little bigger.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about that at all among yourselves?
Among the players, no. We haven't really said anything about it.
But is that in the back of your mind that, I mean, it's not, if I'm not in that top 7 or 8, I'm not going to see action? I mean, you guys realize that you've got to be ready to play every night this year?
Yeah, I think we all know that we need to come ready to play, and just whoever's number is called, just be ready and know your role, do your job. You
know, Coach has been very complimentary of the role that you play. Now, all because it's his show, you don't have to be complimentary, but tell me what it's like to play for this guy.
Like you said, very easy. Just know your role. Just do what you do every day in practice. Come out in the court, and he lets you play. It's not like he's telling you really what to do unless it's like a specific play, and we're like, hey, let's get Jaren the ball because we know he can score. But other than that, it's very free and just, like I said, know your role.
You know,
he has gotten some cheap fouls.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
the
2 quick ones.
Yeah,
I forget which game there was in like a minute.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to get past that. I mean, the Providence game was unbelievable. I mean, some of the stuff. But, the one thing about him is that's unselfish. He goes in and he's really physical. And he knows, if I foul out, I foul out. I mean, he's not concerned. I got to stay in the game. I can't guard on this possession. He knows what he needs to do for us, but I do think he's gotten some cheap ones.
Well, and again, the ACC, when you guys kind of get in it, it's had the reputation for years as kind of a finesse league. But, boy, that's changing. When you bring in Syracuse, you bring Louisville and Pitt, and just the physicality of athletes, I mean, I think it's sliding a little bit closer to Big East physicality with maybe even a higher level of athleticism.
I would agree with that. I think we do have a good degree of physicality and size. Virginia pounds, Clemson pounds, Georgia Tech I think is in the top 5 in rebounding. Carolina's huge, Duke's huge. They play a big center and pound away. So I do think it's as physical as we've ever experienced in the Big East with more skill.
Austin was a McDonald's All-American Game nominee, and just in case you're wondering who the Irish got him from, he had offers from Northwestern, Cincinnati, Iowa, Xavier, Butler, Ohio University, was being recruited by Purdue, Michigan, Michigan State when you picked Notre Dame. So you had some choices. What attracted you to come up here to South Bend?
Really, I talked to my dad about it, and we liked how it was like a whole overall school, not just basketball, and that was the main focus of school and basketball. Also, I didn't want to be too close to home where like my parents could come every weekend or something like that. I wanted to get a little bit of a distance. And the relationship I have with Coach Flo and Coach Brey, I just thought it was the strongest. I really got along with them.
And again, to bring somebody here, the academic part has to be important to them or they're going to struggle.
No, there's no question. I mean, you've heard me say there's no one in my locker room that was tricked into coming here. They know how hard school's going to be, and one of the themes I tell them, you're going to have to compete in the classroom as much as the basketball court. I think Austin Burgett has adapted to how hard this school is. It wasn't easy for him his first early years, but he kept digging, he kept grinding. He's going to be a graduate of this place, and he's going to be one of our very, very favorite former players here because of what he's meant to the program, the personality, the commitment, the teammate that he's been.
And he's having academic success here, which means he's good at answering questions. So he's going to run the fast break of questions right after this timeout. It's the Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com. Welcome back to the Mike Brey Radio Show. We'll, of course, take a week off, couple of weeks off, and we'll be back January 8th because the next 2 Thursdays are holidays, one of them even for the basketball team, Christmas.
Yeah, we get a couple days here. We've got Purdue Saturday. We've got Northern Illinois Monday. Then we'll give them 4 days off at Christmas and give them a little break. It's good. They're going to get home. We want them always getting about 4 days. They'll come back refreshed. And then we've got one game before league play starts again.
Now, what are the rules for pickup for these guys?
No pickup. Never play pickup. Never play pickup. I do want to mention one of our former volleyball girls is in here tonight, Jenny Hauser. Jenny, how you doing? Hey, Jenny. Jenny's in the house. I just want to say hi. We had to call. I see her, but she's on crutches. What happened to you, girl? Oh, my gosh. Okay. One of our
Just a little surgery.
had a great career here in volleyball, and her parents are Louisville spies. They spy on Louisville basketball for us. You know.
Really?
Oh yeah. They get all the info, so they're not going to be able to go back to Louisville
Patino's
now.
going to stop him at the
Yeah,
the
they're
state
going
line
to be
now.
stopped at the state line on the way back.
All right, Austin, let's have a little fun with this. You're becoming a veteran at this. What's your favorite all-time movie?
Goodfellas,
First car you ever drove?
BMW.
Now, I understand from your Twitter feed you're a bit jealous of your dad's new car.
Yeah, well, this past weekend he was supposed to come up here, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna finish my Christmas shopping," and then later to find out, he sends us a picture and he said, "Hey, I got myself a car."
What do you
Really?
get? What do you
His
get?
Christmas. You thought it was for you.
Yeah, well, normally when he says Christmas shopping, it's like for the family and whatnot, and then he said, "Hey, I bought myself something."
Looked like a Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, SUV. Get up early or sleep in?
Get up early.
Who was your role model?
My dad.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
I can play the piano.
Well,
Decent.
ooh, too bad there's not a piano here.
Yeah.
Favorite NBA player?
Paul George.
Favorite snack food?
Fruit snacks.
That's good and healthy.
Health guy.
The dietitian will like that. Favorite thing to do when relaxing?
Hang out with the guys.
Favorite sport to play other than basketball?
Baseball.
Favorite part of practice?
Talking to Coach Lowe.
Worst part of practice?
Stretching.
Best part of your game?
Jumping. Rebounding.
Part of your game you need to work on?
3-point shooting.
Which is better, blocking a shot or sending home a spectacular dunk?
Blocking a shot.
Favorite part of your trip to Italy?
Driving the Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
On
for
his
his birthday.
birthday.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right, how fast did they let you go?
It wasn't in miles per hour. It was in
Kilometers.
It was like 105.
That's not that fast. All right, that's good. You were safe then.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah,
I bet your dad was just probably why he went out and bought a new car. He's still jealous you drove
probably.
a Ferrari. No, that was cool. I remember seeing that.
And his teammates paid for that for his birthday.
That's
I
terrific.
thought that was really neat.
I was going to pay for it regardless, even if they didn't do it.
If you search Watch ND, you can watch him drive the Ferrari because we had a crew with them. The play-by-play announcer
right.
didn't get to go, but that's another story. Player on the team most like you,
Oh, man. I would say Tom Knight, but he's not here anymore.
but I think he listens.
Yeah.
So we'll let him know that you gave him a shout-out.
Steve Astoria.
All right. ACC team that you look forward to playing the most.
Virginia.
Team not on the schedule you'd like to play.
IU.
Player on the team most likely to be on the cell phone the longest.
Pat or Jaron.
Favorite class you have taken so far at Notre Dame?
Karen's class, sports and television.
That's a good class. Of course, I'm a speaker in that class. So
Are you?
it can't be that hard.
Oh.
Just once. Just once. They should bring you in like you have other things you need. Diggers in that class, too.
Oh, boy.
So we probably need you in there just to counteract that. City or place in the world you'd like to visit?
Las Vegas.
One person you would like to meet? Doesn't have to be I've met everybody I want to meet. That's fine.
Floyd Mayweather.
Okay. One thing you always hear from Coach Brey in practice.
It's time to get some kills, boys.
Well, I like that this year. Did that well today. Assistant coach who is most like Coach Brey.
Blanas.
What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. It seems like it's unanimous. I think the ballot box has been stuffed.
I think they set this up, but somehow that they think they're tweaking you. I'll have to ask
Separated
Rod.
at
Rod will
birth.
get out here again. Best nickname on the team and who has it?
Bonzi, and it's Big Baby.
Ooh. In just the best possible way, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Because after Big Baby, the NBA player, or just other things?
After himself, because
Okay. Best player to room with on the road?
Matt Farrell,
Toughest Notre Dame player to guard?
Jaron Grant,
Best defender on the team?
Steve Astoria,
Best leaper on the team?
Austin Burgett,
Best dunker on the team?
Austin Burgett,
Okay. Worst dunker on the team?
Matt Gregory,
Best dresser on the team?
Eric Katenda,
Worst dresser on the team?
Steve Astoria,
I think that's the player he's most like, though. Contender.
Best singer on the team?
Zach August,
Worst singer on the team?
Steve.
Best comedian on the team.
Martin Gibbon.
Free throw contest, who wins, you or Coach Brey?
Me for sure.
Now, there's one other thing. Earlier this year, we asked Matt Gregory who the best player was from Avon, Indiana, and he said, me.
I don't know about that.
We just wanted to let you know that for the next practice.
I'll have to say something to him.
All right, Austin, great job. Thanks for coming out
Thank
tonight.
you.
And
job,
congratulations,
Austin.
you're done with your exams.
Thank you.
He's done, baby.
I remember that feeling.
Go eat dinner,
feelings.
man. Go eat dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
We're back with more on the Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com, right after this timeout. Jack Nolan, Mike Brey back with you. It is the Mike Brey Radio Show, second show of 10 shows this year. Again, we'll take the next couple of Thursdays off because it's called the holidays, and then we're right through until March every Thursday night. And always appreciate the effort you put into the show. And at your press conference today, you brought up a pretty interesting topic because you were on the Rules Committee. Was that a 4-year term?
4-year term, yes.
You put a lot of work into that.
I did.
You took it really seriously.
They take a lot of your time. It's an important committee. And but I rotated off, and Rick Byrd of Belmont is the chair of the committee now.
And you stay in close touch. And you mentioned today at your press conference, and I thought it was interesting, you think that college basketball is really close, men's college basketball, to adopting a 30-second shot clock.
I do think there's great momentum for that. This is a rules change year in the spring and May when the committee meets, and I think that will be the biggest topic of discussion and debate. And my feeling is I think we'll have a 30-second clock next year. We've experimented with it in our exhibition games this year. The ACC
I didn't notice it.
No, I really didn't. We practiced with it, didn't notice much of a difference. But I think it would be interesting to get the data of a month of college basketball next year with the 30-second clock and see if the tempo is up, because tempo has been trending down the last 15 years in college basketball.
So you think it would be a good thing for the game?
I think it would be a good thing. You know, there's some coaches, a lot of them that have the most talent, want a 24-second clock, and that's not happening anytime soon, even though, you know, FIBA and USA, you know, is doing the same thing as the NBA. But I do think the 30-second clock is something we should look at. I mean, you look at it from an offensive standpoint, but also from a defensive standpoint. You know, is it a defensive advantage? Because now you're having to defend them. They get it across half court. You know, you're defending them for 20 seconds instead of 25 maybe. And good defensive teams, you got to move them around a little bit before you know. So if you only have 20 seconds to move them around as opposed to 25, does it help defenses? But I would be really surprised if we're not playing with a 30-second shot clock next year.
You know, I actually think the 24-second clock, I mean, for the NBA it's all right because every team is loaded with among the best players in the world, but I think that would really separate the haves and haves not. There's something about college basketball where if you're well coached and you're veteran, even if you're a little underdog, I think the 24-second clock would really hurt the underdog.
No, I agree. I think you still have to, those guys that like to grind, and there's times we grind. You know, if with the 30-second shot clock, I don't know if our burn would have been effective. It was very effective with a 35-second, and we still go to it sometimes at the end of a game. But I think it'll be in, and it'll be interesting to see the data of tempo and shooting percentages and defensive field goal when we have a month of data like December 5th, a year from now, when we have a month of college basketball, 6 weeks of college basketball to look at. I'll be very interested to see the trends.
We'll be back to wrap things up by focusing on the big game coming up Saturday in Indy with Purdue right after this final timeout. The Mike Brey Radio Show live from O'Rourke's Public House. Jack Nolan, Mike Brey, back to wrap up Mike Brey Radio Show number 2. You know, all the social media people want to call this the Bradio Show.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, how about that?
Maybe next year
That's
we'll
a good one.
The Bradio.
The Bradio.
That's what they say. Hey, cheers, Jack. The Bradio Show's tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the Bradio team is going down to take on Purdue. We talked about their big guys, and we've talked about their great shooters. They've got 4 guys who can shoot the 3, but as I watch them, they haven't scored it as well as maybe they would like to. But to me, and you're far more educated at this than I am, but to me, they look dangerous in that they look like they have the potential to shoot it really, really well. And if they were to do that, they're going to be hard to beat.
They have the ability to go off outside the arc. They really do. They're playing with nothing to lose. I think Matt Painter's done a great job with this group. They're really playing well. They were very good in Maui, and that gave them confidence. We talked about the 2 big guys and throwing it to the post, but if you help too much, they've got guys who can make 3-point shots. And so we really have to be aware of shooters, and we have to be aware of also helping in the post. It's a lot to be responsible for when you guard them.
And they've also beaten Missouri, BYU,
Yeah.
and a pretty good NC State team.
I think that BYU and that NC State win, those are great wins for them. And I think Matt has a group that's kind of playing his style. You know, they're digging India man-to-man wise, even though this year they're playing more zone with these big guys. Out of bounds under, side out of bounds. I wonder if we would see more zone, you know, than maybe than normal. But they're a team that has a great energy and vibe about them, and I just think they're going to get better and better because they're playing a lot of young guys. But the young guys right now are extremely confident, and I think that's a real tribute to Matt Painter.
It is going to be a great afternoon and evening of basketball. Indiana and Butler in Game 1. Notre Dame and Purdue, 5:15 approximately on Saturday evening. You can listen to it right here on WSBT. Coach, thank you very much, folks.
All right,
Thanks
Jack.
for coming out, watching, and
All
listening.
right.
We'll be back in
Merry
a couple of
Christmas.
weeks, January
Merry
8th.
Christmas.
Until then, good night and go Irish.
The Mike Brey Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.